Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, I got a little daylight. I opened up the window today because it's a gorgeous day. It's a good topic, and it's good to go live, right? This is actually a video I probably will follow up with a non-live stream, so it's not interrupted. It's a little bit more detailed because it's actually really important and actually comes up a lot. And this term, this question on any breakup channel or breakup coach or relationship coach, how to get my ex back. How to get my ex back. How to get YX back. I mean, X back. Hello, Viv T from Canada. Nice to meet you. I haven't seen you on the live stream before. What I generally do on the live streams, just to let you know, is I'll talk about the topic for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'll get to any questions pertaining to the topic or outside questions that have nothing to do with the topic. And I usually run these up to an hour. So, how to get YX back? How to get your ex back? Is the question, right? Everyone's asking, how do I get my ex back? Now, if you've been on my channel before, or you've come to my live streams before, or you watched my videos, which there's a lot, here's the process I regard as the best process in getting your ex back. First, you need to assess what's the story you're telling yourself. What do you mean? We broke up. I was insecure. No, it's fucking deeper than that. Give me some details. Well, I said some mean things. I was really insecure. No, it's fucking deeper than that. Okay. How you convey or perceive what happened counts. It counts in the strategy of you getting them back or the strategy you don't use, because there's a lot of information out there, and there's a lot of information that might not suit you, but you think, oh yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, that's good, because you just want your ex back. But real talk, it's kind of like, think about it this way. If you have a problem with your car, you're not a mechanic. You have no idea what's wrong with your car. You take it to one mechanic. The mechanic goes, hey, this is $10,000 worth of damage. It's going to take me a week, . Now, if you were smart, because you know nothing about cars and you've never met this mechanic before, you'd go to another mechanic probably just to see what they say and get their feedback. Now, the other mechanic says, oh, it's $7,000 and this, and actually you don't need this sealer and you don't need that. I don't know why that mechanic said that. Now, who's right, who's wrong? You could go back to the mechanic that's 10 grand and the mechanic goes, I don't know what your mechanic told you, but if you want this thing running high performance, you don't want to have to come back to me, then I would highly recommend that you do what I say. But if you want to go the cheap route, go ahead. You see where I'm going with this? Now, how to get your ex back? Someone recently asked me. I had a live coaching session. I thought it went pretty well. The individual, it's a fresh breakup. It hasn't been a month or 2 months. So it's a little bit different when you just broke up compared to 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. It's a fresh wound. It's hard. And a lot of times what's going through your head, how do I get them back? How do I get them back? And I have to go through some questions. I have to go through your story, because let's just say you do get the individual back quickly. And I've seen this before. I've talked to people about this before. You use some technique or strategy and you reeled them right back in, and you're back on deck, and you guys slept together. You hooked up. It's rose petals and wine glasses. And then within a week, you break up again. 2 weeks down the road, you break up again. A month down the road, you break up again, because really you didn't fix the problem. You just created a shortcut strategy to get them back. And you thought, oh, this is good. But if you're insecure, you're needy, you lack confidence, you're not happy with yourself in your own life, the same thing's going to happen again, regardless if you guys get back together or you don't get back together. That's the crazy part. That's the elephant in the room. And so what I will tell you, what I will recommend, is for you to sew up the parts of your life that are damaged, that you have control over, such as not being happy with your career, such as having money trouble, such as being really unhappy with your weight. This comes up a lot. Being unhappy with your physical stature. These are things you can work on, right? Being unhappy with your social skills or your social circle, right? Some people tell me that they don't have a big friend circle. These are things, even if you get your ex back, they're going to tear apart the relationship again. And you're like, oh, well, I just want them back. Well, if you want to use some, what's up, Sweet Lou? I love the name. If you want to use some strategies where if you want to use some shallow strategies to get them back, there's some different ways that, such as posting pictures of you on social media with other women, or if you're a woman with other men, that will get them jealous. If they're the type that is a bit insecure and they're competitive, this will often lure their interest again, and it'll switch the tables. I always tell people, I hope this is true, that you're actually seeing someone else, because if you have to build on a lie, that's just going to make things worse. That kind of stuff works, but it doesn't fix the problem, because when you get back in the relationship, your insecurities will bubble up again. Do you understand me? Because this idea that, well, you just gave me this information of how to move on. Moving on, once someone has broken up with you or conveyed that they're not interested in anymore, is highly attractive, or it gives you a head start on moving on when a person's just not going to be interested regardless. Do you see where I'm going with this? Now, on the flip side, if you sit there and you try and you hope and you wish and you try to be creative and you try to be slick, you could lure him. Something could happen. You could take something out of the tackle box. You could throw a couple lures out there and bait him back in. But again, if I talk to you, especially in a live coaching session, and we get to the bottom of some things that are going to take you some time. Oh, I know I was just insecure. Well, why were you insecure? Oh, I don't really want to talk about that. Well, that's a fucking problem. Oh, well, actually, I don't really like my job, and I haven't, I haven't done these things. I haven't gone to the gym in about 6 years. Someone told me one time, they go, I haven't exercised in 5 years. That's a problem. That's a problem mentally. That's a problem physically. And those things, like if you get back with your ex and you get them back and there's something, that's not going to fix the insecurity or the low confidence thing. So you can go ahead and go, well, let me just get them back. But once you get them back, you still got to deal with yourself and your issues. This is an opportunity during the breakup to gain some knowledge and go, wait a minute. This is how I would approach it. All right, what are my insecurities? What are my lack of confidence? What's my issues? Now, if you don't have any, this is a really good time when out of the breakup to identify maybe I didn't do anything wrong, and this individual is the one with the problems. Now, that happens sometimes. And in that case, someone's going, I didn't do anything wrong. They're explaining themselves, and I go, well, you didn't do anything wrong. This is timing and circumstances. And this individual was not interested. And that's when moving on is the right thing to do with no contact, because what's the other opportunity? What's the other chance? What are you're like I tell people, you want to be the annoying salesman that's tapping someone on the shoulder over and over again? Think about it like this. If you've lived long enough, you've been in enough major cities, you've been around the world, or you've just been in your city. There's been a time in your life, if you're old enough and you've been a consumer of some sort, at a mall, at a car lot, at a tourist destination, where someone came up and they were trying to sell you something. And you were like, no, I'm okay. No, I'm okay. No. Wait. Let me tell you this. And they annoy the fuck out of you because you told them no once, you told them no twice. And now after a while, you're like, you know what? I'll never buy anything from you again. That's who you are when you don't accept the breakup. You keep knocking on the door, asking the same questions, and subconsciously you don't realize it. But what you're really seeking is pity. Oh, feel sorry for me, and then we'll get back together. Sometimes that works. Does it work long term? No. Does it work for a lot of people? No. Does it work for 5% of the population? Yeah, probably, depending on someone's personality and character and what they filter for. But in my experience, by telling your story and getting to the bottom of who you are as an individual, now that's the nuts and bolts. That's a lot deeper than me going, yeah, what did they write in their text? I had someone 3 or 4 weeks ago, they said, well, I had a coach before you. I said, oh, that's fine. I mean, I don't look at it as competition or someone's better. Go with who resonates with you, whose personality and approach lines up with your morals and values. Does that make sense? Don't go with the person that you're like, yeah, that sounds really kick-ass, but that's not really who I am. If you want to change your personality and values, that's going to take time. It's doable, but it doesn't happen overnight. You really have to get clear if this relationship is something worth pursuing, if this relationship was your fault, if this relationship, if I do get them back, am I still having problems with confidence? Am I still having problems with my weight? Am I still having problems with their mother or their sister or their best friend who I can't stand and don't get along with? See all the nuances to this? And that's why when you go online and you go on YouTube and you go on websites, there's a lot of information out there, and I'm one of them. I'm not better, but I like the approach I take as individually based, right? If you go and get this broad, generalized information and you try to fit it into every situation, it doesn't work. Not every situation is the same. Not every individual is the same. And that's why I recommend you telling your fucking story and getting to the bottom of it. And then you go around and this is what a lot of people do too. Well, you told me this other person told me this other video told me this, what's right? This isn't one of those situations where you see in a movie and it's like red wire, yellow wire, clip one and the bomb will be, undetonated. It doesn't work that way. It's not one size fits all. It's go with what you like, go with what you believe in, and work on it. You understand me? So you go around, you see these other breakup coaches, you see this different material. What some people do is they just go with what they want to believe. Do you understand me when I say that? How to get your ex back? Well, this person says I can get my ex back in 2 weeks, so I'm going to go with this. Brand New Skinner knows what I'm talking about. Bernice Muir from New Zealand, I believe. Haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're well. I think Brand New Skinner, you told me that you used Brad Browning's technique. Maybe it was someone else. And you got your ex back, but it still didn't work out. No, it wasn't you, Skinner. I'm sorry. It was someone else. It was One-Legged Pigeon. These are the names of people on the live stream. So, well, it was a bit spirited because I'm going to get into it because I got a email a couple days ago out of a live coaching session. And Peppa Pig and Sweet Lou, I will get to your questions if you're patient about this. I don't, YouTube not giving me your videos. Oh, really? Someone else complained about that. I don't know what it's all about, Bernice. VC, what's up? How are you? So this individual, we had a live coaching session. It went okay to well, and I know where he's coming from. I got a lot of compassion for him because he's out of a fresh breakup, and I have a lot of people that are like this. And he's very well spoken and well written, and the way he writes his questions and his messages are really good. So I'm going to just share a piece of this. I'm not going to share the story because he wouldn't want me to do that, and I don't do that out of coaching sessions. But the way the questions formed, I really like it, and I think that it's a good question. So this is just a piece of the email. He writes, we had a 30-minute live coaching session that ended up being almost an hour and a half, by the way. I always over-deliver. I appreciate your holistic approach to coaching, and I realize that my problem is deeper than just losing my ex. Having said that, can you expand a bit more on how to actually get her back besides no contact or semi-no contact in my case? So, without getting into the story too deep, this particular situation, this woman said, I don't want to see you anymore. And he repeatedly tried a few different methods and it didn't work out. I feel like most of the advice you gave me was geared toward helping me move on. You said there was hope, but realistically, do you think there's a chance based on what I've told you? Or am I hoping a needy trait according to your videos in vain? I feel like if I could just get her to see me on a casual basis with no pressure on her, it would lead to something more down the road. According to Corey Wayne, at least, I just don't know how to get her on board for that. So reading this, I understand exactly where this individual is coming from. And the part I think that getting lost is I want to get her back. I can put me moving forward and me improving myself on the sidelines and just, somehow coax her in. My thing is is, wait a minute, you got some insecurity issues here. She's told you repeatedly that she doesn't want to be with you. So trying to do something tricky or strategic at this point would convey neediness and weakness in my book, based on the story I was given. And the idea, here's the flip. Here's the counterintuitive shit that a lot of people don't like and they're not going to get. And they just are like, there's got to be another way. Moving on is probably the best way to get your ex back in most cases. Now, he mentioned, well, Dan Bacon says otherwise. This other person says otherwise. Go ahead then. You've already tried other options. And here's the thing. Sometimes people want me to lay out like this playbook. Well, do this and then do that and then do this and then do that and then do this. Hey, dude, if I can identify where your insecurity is from or where you're really lacking excitement and purpose as a man, that's way more useful and helpful than you just getting this ex back. And you think, well, if I got my ex back, I would get my gusto and my juice back. No, it would be 24 hours, 48 hours, 1 week, and then it would seep back in. Oh shit, yeah, I'm not really happy with myself because I don't have a really good purpose. Do you understand where I'm going with this? When people give you the advice, when they go, oh, you just got to get recentered and don't go into no contact. This doesn't work for women. That's for people that are highly secure and highly confident and really comfortable if someone rejects them. So if you're an individual that goes, if you're an individual that is really confident, really happy with where they're at in life, it's a bit shocking about the breakup. You guys had a really good relationship, and you can honestly say to yourself, hey, if this doesn't work out, then I'm okay. There's people like that. There's people like that. I've had a situation in a breakup years back. It was long distance. And I revisited it. I was in no contact for a few weeks. I revisited it, identifying the problem. And I said to myself, if this individual says no, or they don't want to see me again, I was okay, because I had other things going on in my life and it wasn't the end of the world. I was okay with it. But if you're really hoping, wishing, and I'll add something else to this. If you're looking for a formula that's going to work, because there's so many different ones, right? Okay. There's so many different options. We'll do this, this, and this. Brad Browning's a good one. He gives you formulas, and some people say they work. Okay. If that's what you want, go ahead and try it. One of the things he says is, send them a text saying, hey, I'm headed over to Dillon Beach right now. I'm not sure how to get there. I know you remember that we went there before. And then they're going to go, oh, who are you going there with? And they're going to remember that memory as something that was great. And they're going to fall back into your arms, and it's going to create mystery and curiosity. It could work. It could work. Absolutely. I'm with you. But I mean, where are you going with playing these games? And then if it does work and you do get them back, the elephant in the room, the reality of the situation, you still have insecurities, lack confidence, and have issues that you haven't fixed yet. So you can be in a relationship for 3 more weeks, 1 more month. And I've seen it many, many times. Oh, we got back together, then we broke up again within a month. Yeah, okay, because your issues, where you were at in life, you weren't happy with yourself. You're not happy with yourself, you're going to blow up any relationship you're in. All right, so let me get into some of this. How to get your ex back. My ex and I broke up a year ago. We worked together until June. She comes in my work and talks to other worker when only 2 of us is working. She knows my car. My ex and I broke up a year ago. We worked together until June. She comes into my work, talks to other coworker. I think you've sent me this before, or I've heard this before. The reality is, if it's been a year and she worked at the same place as you, or he, I'm sorry, because you don't, she. If she worked at the same place, she has a right to come in and visit ex-coworkers. It's been a year. I don't know, because I don't know your situation. I don't know their personality. I don't know if they're trying to get your attention or they're just visiting a coworker that was a friend. Peppa Pig, if you want to send your full story, maybe I can give you a better take on that. How do you feel about no contact if you dumped your ex, but they won't take you back? Well, Sweet Lou, I'd have to know your full story, what your reasons were, and here's what I would say. If you dump your ex, and I don't like using that word because I think it's highly negative, but if you dump them and then you want them back, first of all, if it was a shocking dump where they were really surprised, second of all, if they were hurt really bad, they're not going to trust you. Whenever you break up, regardless of who dumped who broke up with who, there's a trust broken. And so when you just want them back, they're not going to trust your decisions or your intentions. And that just to get them back would not involve you going, well, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend again. It would involve you guys dating again and organically building some trust again. But in order for me to answer that full story, Sweet Lou, I would send your story into writemac.com. And then I can give you a full take. Again, your individual story really counts. I mean, really think about this. If you told me, hey, Mac, how do I make a pizza? It's like, what do you like? Do you like spicy? Do you like tomato sauce? Do you like this? I could just tell you, there's 100 different ways to make a pizza. If you want breakup advice, I really do need to know your story. But my short answers are generalized based on what you're asking me, but I don't know how helpful they're going to be. Skinner, Ja Morant is trouble. Have you seen that guy, Skinner? My NBA brethren? Yes, I get it. BNS in the house, X back in 24 hours. If something's, it's like anything else, too good to be true, these kinds of things, anything is possible in a breakup. You can get back with your ex in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on your situation, your personal outlook or story, and where you're at as an individual in your life and where they're at as an individual. And this is the thing that really fucks people up. There's no certainty in this, right? Think about this for a moment. Really think about this, okay? I just had a coffee this morning. I'm a little jacked up. I had a good sleep last night. And the person that sent me this message, I was just thinking to myself, this comes up a lot. You're putting getting your ex back immediately over the idea of, was this really a good relationship? Why did we really break up? If we got back together, does it erase the problems that we had or the problems I had as an individual? Those are big fucking questions, right? Peppa Pig double P. She walked into my work when I'm working and asked my boss for her job back today. Only two of us work at a time. So this could be one of those things where she really needs her job back. It could have nothing to do with you. I don't know. She could have liked that job. On the flip side, if you have a problem with it, maybe it's time for you to look for a new job if you don't like your current job. A lot of times people, when they work there's a lot of people out there really unhappy, or I forgot what someone said. They were in a breakup and I said, well, maybe consider moving, And he goes, well, I got a decent job right now. A decent job? If you're in your early to mid 20s, late 20s, you don't have a whole lot of debt, you don't have kids, you don't have a mortgage, I wouldn't be fucking shooting for a decent job. I'd be shooting for a career. I'd be shooting for something with growth. I'd be shooting for something that you really liked. If you don't make a lot of money, that's okay, right? My channel is not one of these groups where people go, oh, I'm Dean Graziali, and you want to see how you can make $249,000 in one day? I'm so sick of that shit. I mean, let's check people on the happy meter out there, right? I've been a teacher for years. Absolutely gratifying, superior job in terms of just happiness and helping people, right? And being around young people and being a contributor to fucking society, right? Now, I'm not judging anyone else that wants to make their dollars and make big money. But on the flip side, I mean, what are you chasing? But if you just go, oh, I have a decent job. I've heard this before. Oh, I got pretty good benefits. I make 70, 80 grand a year, which is good money. Do you like your job? No, not really, man. What are you fucking doing? You know what I mean? Is it possible to make good money and like what you should do? Hell yeah. Would I prefer making less money and liking what I do over making a lot of money and not being happy most of the time? No. And it affects your relationships, folks. Brad Browning, does he use a similar method to Corey Wayne? No, I think Brad Browning is more detailed and strategic as far as do this specific thing, where Corey Wayne's like, go back out with them, ask them out, and in certain cases that does work depending on your situation. Here's the thing. All these ideas and all these things can work. They do work in certain situations. The percentage that they work, who the fuck knows? But I'll tell you this. If you told me your individual story, who you were with, and what happened and what went down, and then in a live coaching session, we actually broke bread and talked about your life and who you are as an individual, I can give you some tailored information that's a lot better than, oh, try this out, try that out. It's like diagnosing yourself online when you have a cut on your hand and it gets yellow or something like that. You can go online and you can find 100 different things you might have in that cut. That's bacteria, that's a virus. That's just better off going to a fucking doctor and explaining exactly where you got cut, what kind of elements you were in. Was it an animal that bit you? So on and so on, giving them more details. Then they can give you a better response of what happened. VC. Okay, thank you, VC. Hey. I think there are many X-back schemes online and they target hurting desperate people. The advice is so scheme-based. Try this scheme. Like I said, and Monica, they can work. They do work. I've had someone, this is months back, someone was talking about Brad Brown. She goes, I love Brad Brown. He's helped me so much. Fuck, go for it. If you ask me, when I first started this thing a couple years back, I'd go, oh, I can't believe someone will take advice from this guy or that guy. You know what? To each their fucking own. Okay? And we're all different people and we all have different morals and values. And it's just filtered a little bit different, right? Just a little bit different. And that makes a difference. And so when you're trying to put the puzzle pieces together on what you want to do and how you want to move forward, choose the person that you respect and resonates with you. Don't choose the person that you go, oh yeah, I hope that gives me a shortcut. Well, there are some legit methods that will increase your chances, but nothing is 100%. Again, I agree with Rob. My point is, if I'm in a live coaching session with you, you're number one. And some of the people, Rob's been on deck for a long time, but we haven't done a live coaching. Monica, I fucking care. That's not bullshit. I care about you as an individual. And so if I care about you as an individual, and I honestly, one of the models I tell myself, it's a privilege to help you out. I'm going to go above and beyond. I'm going to over deliver. And so sometimes I find it's not in your best interest to be chasing or going after this relationship. I'm not going to tell you that, but I'm going to ask you good questions that hopefully you come to that conclusion on your own and you realize, wait a minute, what am I chasing? Or wait a minute, even if I did get this person back, I still have some things I got to deal with. And you know what? If you have problems and you have things you want to improve on, the time to do it is when you're alone, is when you're on your own. Rob, there's no scheme, only you know. Yeah, that's true. That's so true, Monica, that you only know your ex best. And that's why I need to know your perception of it. In order to understand the methods, one first needs to know underlying psychology behind attraction. Yes. I mean, that's why a lot of times I will tell you some books to read. And then some people go, oh, yeah. It's like, dude, a couple of these books, when people do read them, they're like, oh, shit, that changed my outlook, man. That was a fucking fantastic book. Where'd you find that? And I'll go, well, I read a lot. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. And so after talking to you, I'll be like, this suits you down to the boots. So you don't have to search, right? What's a book cost now? $12, $15? Well, thanks for saying sorry. Thanks for saying sorry, Nico. I'm okay with that, but you're on a very fucking short leash. And I don't like being put in a position where I got to monitor people's comments because, you've made two outlandish, crazy comments that I don't know where you're going with that, right? This is one of those things. It's spirited. It's fun. My father was a truck driver. My uncles, my grandfather. So I'm not afraid of like harsh language, but bad intentions, no. Okay. So if you want to be a part of the live stream, I'm all right with that. But you got 2 strikes, dude. If you weren't joking, it's still something I don't want to know about. So you saying if you can handle the no, don't do the no contact. Bernice, can you elaborate on your question? I don't know what you mean by that. Maybe I'm far from where I was talking a lot. Exactly. The fixed issues will always pop back up. Thank you, Rob. This is something that I didn't realize when I've been in breakups is it's an opportunity for growth. I know it sounds cliche. I know it sounds self-improvement woo-woo, but a lot of times your issues and why you're chasing so hard is because you're insecure, you're low on confidence, you're unhappy with yourself. The people that I find that are really able to move forward and move on swiftly are really happy with other areas of their life and who they are and what they offer. The letter writer sounds like they have an agenda and are still feeling reactive. Well, I think that the letter writers just in this case, they just want their ex back. And I get it because it's fresh. So this isn't me trying to put this individual down. Okay. This is me saying, look, you're not seeing the whole picture. Even if you do get them back, my holistic approach, long term, hindsight 2020 in 2 or 3 years, the idea that I've pointed out pretty clearly what your insecurity or maybe a couple of what your problems are right now outside of this breakup will serve you long term much more than you figuring out a way to lasso this ex back in. Because a lot of times the situation with the ex too, if it's timing and circumstance, in some particular situations, they just don't want a boyfriend or girlfriend. And so, well, you're not going to, this isn't about you being good or bad. This is about them not having a serious committed relationship. In that case, if you pull them back, it'll be for a nice night or two or a week or a month, and it'll be on their terms, but you're never going to talk them into getting serious because that's just not where they're at. VC, moving on is better. Everything you try to do immediately after kind of just the closing details and the breakup. For any chance lasting next time, you'd have to let the old story end. Thanks, VC. I agree, and I respect your opinion. So there are times, individual stories, individual cases where I'm like, all right, in this case, you guys can talk in the next couple of weeks or 3 weeks. Or in this case, I don't have a problem with you calling them next week and checking in and seeing what's going on. But it's, if you've already tried, and here's the one that gets me every time, and it's almost, I'm at a point now when I hear it, I'm just like, the final email. Well, and I find that men do this more than women, and I've never done this. Well, if you know where to find me if you change your mind, or if you do change your mind, when to contact me or where to. It's like, that's like a sales pitch. You're better off just going, okay. That just throws people off. They're like, wow, you just accepted that? I thought you were going to be bitchy and complaining, and I'm not even sure if you like me anymore. Now you just flip the tables possibly. Hey, coach, why would anyone want to get back with an ex-girlfriend? I like a fresh start and a new beginning, and the honeymoon phase is so good. Well, that's a positive outlook, Ozzy. I think certain cases, certain people, they're deeply in love. And here's what people don't notice. And I talked about this with this individual. And this is, relationships 101. And if you read books about relationships, this will come out a lot, right? Is a lot of times you're here and they're here, right? It's like a teeter-totter. It's like a, up and down. It's a lot of relationships, like their feelings are stronger, your feelings are weaker. It's not very common for someone for 5 years to just be exactly even in their love and acceptance and lust, attraction. There's usually someone that rules the relationship, and that's okay. And the person that cares less, this person, actually rules the relationship. Does that make sense? Now, people can get really uncomfortable, especially guys, if this one cares less. And they're like, wait a minute. And then they try to overcompensate the whole situation. And that's when the other person that doesn't care as much go, wow, this is being too much work. It's not flowing together. Ideally, and some women might not like this, ideally, I think that women are more attracted to a man that cares less about the relationship than the woman. Now, I could be wrong about that. Now, there can be relationships, in the low percentages. I haven't done a study on this, where they're pretty even keel, right? And that usually means that you have similar morals and values, similar purposes. You got similar careers. You probably have kids together and you agree on how to raise them. You have a mortgage and a house in an area in a neighborhood you both like. You see what I'm saying? Everything lines up. It's like I've seen before where people are teachers, and both of them are teachers. There's a couple of teachers I've worked with for years. They're husband and wife. They work in the same department. They have lunch together every day. I never see them fight. I'm sure they do. But I mean, they're so lined up. They don't look extraordinarily happy, but they're just lined up. I mean, they do everything together. They have lunch every day together. They're in the same department. So they have the same problems to talk about. They have the same salaries. You see what I'm saying? And so when you're in a relationship and you feel like this and the other person is down here, that's when it gets really uncomfortable really quick. And that's when a breakup happens. And then the other person's going, well, how do I get them? Well, you're not going to pull them up to that level. Right. The way to get over them or get them back is usually the same as moving on. Thanks, Judy Jack. That comes from someone that has some life experience. I was going to watch his highlights from the game, but I saw you live. Thanks, Skinner. We're on the same page. He's a beast, dude. He's fun to watch, and he plays a real point guard. You understand what I'm saying? He passes the ball, he sees the field, and he's skinny too. Well, congrats on the job, Nico. Watch Melo highlights from Australia. Melo's playing it. I'm not a big Carmelo fan. All right. See, this is what I'm talking about, Nico. I'm not interested in you coming on the live stream to rub her garbage out. You got a lot of bitterness and anger towards this ex. And I don't know how's this gonna let's unpack this then. How's it serving you? Does it make you feel really good to share with a group of 20 people online that you're gonna rub her garbage LSAT score in her face now? Does that make you feel better? Hello, guys. I'm listening. Good introduction, Mac. Yes, Robin Ozzy, by the way, 8 billion people on planet, and someone has pathological attachment to an ex. There's something else there. I'm with you, Mac. Do a mission instead of some douchey hustle with no satisfaction. It's exactly right, Nico. Like I said, someone was just on, like I said, and the guy was coming back and forth, and he had a fresh breakup. His situation was, this is kind of funny, because he was on the live stream, so this has been recorded. But he goes, she was a preschool teacher and a yoga instructor. Come on, man. How many in their late 20s? Like he was saying, like she's all that, you know, and then some. Like I lost a fucking unicorn, and I was like, all right, I'm with you, this and that, but I don't know his story and whatnot. And I said, well, you know, I forgot what came up. They lived in the same town. They lived in Philly, actually, Philadelphia. And I said something about, well, he was coming in and out. And he's like, yeah, you'll just say to get exercise. Yeah, you'll just say. He had all this negativity mounted up. And I'm like, all right, you're not ready. You know, it's a pretty fresh wound. They had been together for 5 years. And I'll tell you what, folks, what's really tough is when you're with someone that's a really good catch and you know it. And I've had that before. They're a really good catch. And it's just like, you know, you just don't, you're going to meet more good catches. They're just far and few between. It's harder to, you know, it's harder to meet people that match up. And I'll tell you what happens with a good catch. And a good catch to me is someone that you're attracted to, someone that's growing as an individual, someone that's into learning, someone that's interested in getting better, and someone that does something that they enjoy and they contribute to society. That's just in my book, just off the top of my head. All right. But saying that, if that person that's a great catch is doing all those things and you're not on deck with all those things, you're in a stable pattern, or you're just in a place where you're kind of just getting by, or you got a job that you're not really happy with, this is what's going to happen in the relationship. And you're going to start going, hey, wait a minute for me. They're going to notice, like, this person's not really up to par with what I'm doing out there. And so when you break up and you tell me all these great things about that individual, my question to you is like, where are you at in life? And I asked this guy, and he's like, well, I got a decent job. And I was like, what the fuck? What's a decent job when you're 26, 27 years old? Move on, get a different job, starting. Well, anyone could say that. Da, da, da. Well, I mean, how does that feel to tell people I got a decent job? I said, even what does that even mean? Right? Real life Canadians are like South Park Canadians. I know South Park, but I don't follow it that closely, so I'm not. I'm Canadian. That's 100% wrong. Agree, Judy, moving on because we can't stop the time. Nico, you should travel more. Oh, Canada, my home and native land. So sorry. Does your girlfriend back tactics only work if she still has interested in you, but it's only short term and will never work out? Does get your girlfriend back tactics only work if she still has interest in you, but it's only short term and will never work out? I mean, that's a big one. So I'll ask that in a live coaching session about maybe how your intimacy was or how your attraction level was. A lot of times breakups are long-term relationships. Breakups happen over trust. Trust is lost. But if attraction is lost, that's not going to be regained anytime soon. And what people will do is one person's still highly attracted and the other person isn't. And then those kind of people, they go from being unattracted to you to being negatively attracted to you because you don't listen. Baby, I've been all over the world. Good for you. Eric, EG, it's been a long time. Been looking for you in the daylight with the flashlight. Hope you're well, bud, in SD. I lived in North Africa for a year. How was that? I don't know many people that have lived in well, actually, I know some Egyptians. I know some Tunisians. People forget Egypt's in Africa. Nico, I ain't any baby. Ooh, uh-oh. Look what I got into. It's an expression. You know that. On the real, when your company and coworkers depend on your sales to stay in business, breakups are pretty insignificant. You're a salesman, Adonis, huh? Well, if you like being a salesman and you like your job, it's like a good friend of mine is a car salesman. I'll retract that. We're not great friends. We're friends from a long time ago, but I hung out with him recently, and he's what they call like the closer, I guess. The salesman will bring him into the room to close out the deal. And he's like, I'm damn important, dude. Like, he's very proud of who he is and what he does as a car salesman. I saw a bus with agriculture workers on the roof roll over and half of them got killed right in front of me. Finally made a stream. What's up, Tommy Willis? K-Boo. Met my ex. Still share his location with me after he broke up with me. Why? My ex still shares his location. I don't know. Why would he? Off the top of my head, K-Boo, he's trying to get your attention, and he has because you responded about it and you're questioning it. So he created some sort of mystery. I'm guilty of that. Final email. Always regretted. Matt, people tell me it all the time, especially men. Well, I did just send a final email, and the men always go, if you change your mind, you know where to find me. And I just don't think that that's the better email would be the final email. If you had the final word, very, very powerful. Okay. What did that mean? Well, figure it out for yourself. I'm okay with things. Are you up? I remember I had that with an ex, and they were like, are you mad? Are you mad? No, I'm okay. Drove them nuts. I'm not going to still trying to smash, which is what? Sometimes they may feel that they have some qualities that aren't easily replaced. Yeah, I think most will agree that the honeymoon period is awesome, but some people just keep doing that. I have an interesting, someone I really look up to and I have a lot of respect for, and they're in the late 30s, said that this idea of the honeymoon phase is true, but you can flip it by having the attention that you're not going to fall into letting the honeymoon phase die. And I thought to myself, wow, I've never thought of that before, because we just assume, oh, that's just how it is. And he was saying that if you really focus on finding a good partner that has the qualities and values and morals that you do, that you could probably prolong the honeymoon phase long term with the intention and idea that it can work. And that kind of made me think about things a little differently. Because like I said, a lot of times we end up in relationships that's just an opportunity, and the person doesn't check all the boxes, and we deal with things we don't like. And so, yeah, it's definitely possible to prolong or make it a honeymoon phase throughout, but both of you have to be really good places individually. You have to be connected on a lot of different levels, professionally, emotionally, morally, values wise. And that can happen, but I'll tell you this, you have to be a little bit more picky in the process. Does that make sense? Mary, Mary, how are you? You changed your name back. What are we talking about, Mary? We are talking about getting your ex back. Is it best to move on? Mac, is it okay if I post my story here or should I hold off? I don't want to ruin the live stream. No, send it to writemac.com and I'll do a YouTube video response. It won't even fit. If you have a short version, you can put it on the live stream, Sweet Lou. But in my experience, you at least got to have 400 or 500 words to really get some details in there. Otherwise, what was it? You know, if you just write, oh, she cheated on me and I'm heartbroken, what do I do? Well, what really happened? I need more details. I ignored my ex when she reached out. Deep down, I know I did the right thing. Now I'm moving on. Well, you've been moving on, EG. What if I'm also a great catch too? Well, I would say that's fucking outstanding that you feel that way, and you should feel that way, and that'll only benefit you moving forward, right? We got 20 on deck today. Thanks for the likes, folks. I appreciate it. It's supposed to help the algorithm. If you like my channel and you want me to succeed, up the likes is what I've been told. You are too. You're beautiful too. Do you ever think when people put their pictures up like this, Sabine, I'm not saying this about you, but like, is that your real picture? I just wonder. I think that when the picture looks too good, sometimes we think like, is that really you? There's so much different things. And I'm not saying that is you, again, Sabine, as an individual. But I've had people tell me before from pictures I had online, wow, you don't look like your pictures. It's like, of course you don't. When you do like a professional picture or where you took time, you really, when you're on, you have to let go of that and like be like, look, you know, I don't have a hair and makeup person to fucking, you know, help me out. You just got to make videos. Be your fucking self, right? I was recently asked on a date by someone. We always shared major attraction physically and personally wise. We are both newly single in these last few months, but I think we'll have a good time. Yeah, what's the problem, VC? Sounds like shit lines up. And, you know, give it the benefit of the doubt, see where it goes, but physically and personality wise, what else do you want? Yeah, it's been a couple months still in SD. Rob got into baby. Let me tell you who I am. I'm business development. I love it. Well, fuck, man. If you love your job, that's a huge bonus in life, dude. And you have a choice in that. It's like what I'm doing now with breakup coaching, these live streams. I think you guys can tell I like it, right? This isn't a means to an end or me trying to make a ton of money, which I would like to do, but it's not my key goal. And I fucking love doing this. This is great. Especially the live streams, right? This is fun. C. Riddle. What's up? VC, did you go on a date? SB saw that. There likely will be more of these kind of comments. My ex told me she had a new boyfriend, so I just said word and left it at that. You didn't have a riddle for her? That's a good, I mean, I don't know if I'd say word, but whatever. Short is better than, really? What's his name? What's he look like? Do you have a picture of him? Weak. Right? Oh, that's cool. I mean, I've had where I went on dates and they start talking about their ex and I just am like, oh, okay. And it's almost like they're waiting to see if you bad talk the ex. I won't, if that's one thing I won't cross the line. If someone mentions an ex, I won't sit there and bad talk because in the back of my head, I'm like, that's another guy. I don't know the situation. I never even met this guy. This is a biased opinion. It's actually a reflection of you to keep going on about how bad the relationship is. But I'll listen. I'll ask a couple questions, but I won't want to make that the biggest topic of the night. And I definitely don't want to come off as like, oh yeah, what an asshole. Because actually, if they spend some time with that individual 2-3 years, it's almost like family. Have you ever heard someone talking shit about their family, right? No one, you know, let's say someone's mom's a hoe or something like that, or has been around. They don't want you telling them that, but they might complain about it, right? No one wants them. No one wants you saying things about their family members. And some people are like that with their exes. So you got to tread lightly. Had the convo come up, C Riddle? Did you ask her or did she bring it up randomly? Look at Tommy over here, little junior coach. Maybe you can get the military to create a post where you can help people with their breakups. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people in the military with breakups, man. Rob, can't even write complete thought what I think about it. I want to stay respectful. Cheers. Respectful is good, Sabina. VC, I had one of my exes tell me about a girl he messed with, sending him emails after he blocked her. He thought it was the strangest thing ever. I would never send an email personally. I had one of my exes tell me about a girl he messed with, sending him emails after he blocked her. He thought it was the strangest thing. I don't think it's strange. People get desperate, they get needy, and they think of, well, they blocked me. So what it is too is, okay, so VC, because I see this on both ends. They get blocked, and especially for people that are high performers or usually get what they want or are good looking or are rich, they're used to getting what they want. And so someone blocks them and they can't accept it, as if this person, they're not hearing me correct. I need to get through in an email. I need to say sorry again, or I need to explain myself, or I need to get the last word. And for a lot of people, if they're dug in, they find it pathetic or pitiful. I don't know how to people. Sorry. Okay. I don't know. Maybe she wanted a high five or something. Well, you're not going to give her a high five, right? No. When you have an ex and they start talking about someone new they're with, or in detail, or how great it is, best way, you just got your clarity and you just go, oh, right on. Oh, that's cool. I'm good for you. I'm happy for you. I mean, what's the alternative? Like I said, who is this? What's their name? Or I like the best is when someone goes on and on about how much of an asshole or how much less they are than them. Well, if someone's with less of a person than I am, or that I believe is like a low quality individual, such as a thief or a convict, Rob, right? Well, then I just got my clarity on the idea that, you know what, maybe this person, had lower standards than I thought, but it's definitely not going to be something that I want to revisit. Because in the back of my head, women do this a lot too. Correct me if I'm wrong. You do judge who your ex ends up with if it's equal or higher value to you. I've been told this by women. Women will tell me, well, I don't mind if my ex goes out with someone new, but it better be someone better looking than me. Does that make sense? Because I've been told this numerous times. I don't know. Maybe she wanted a high five or something. People definitely forget that they're also a catch. Got to put yourself on a pedestal. You do. I mean, sounds conceited to put yourself on a pedestal, but you got to feel good about yourself at some point. And a lot of times not feeling good about yourself, it's just a state of mind. Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz is one of the first self-help books. The guy was a plastic surgeon in the 50s and 60s. I didn't even know they did plastic surgery then in New York. So he probably had a lot of business. And he said, you do nose job or you do, eyes. I don't know if you do ears or ear jobs, but, and he said it never failed that individuals, he'd do good work, and the individuals that didn't feel good about themselves would just get another surgery and another surgery. And it was just a state of mind of not feeling good about yourself and thinking you're quote unquote ugly, or you got an ugly nose. And the individuals that were really confident and felt good about themselves or were pretty even keeled, if they got surgery, they generally found it to be good. What's up, Crystal? I actually went to your channel a couple days ago, just to last night, actually, a couple days ago. Last night, I took a quick peek. You actually are reading the cards online. You're doing some live streams. Good for you. Keep it up. I know only I am a blonde. I know only I am blonde now. Okay. See, Riddle, that's weird. She told me you randomly. Nice response, though. Yeah, nice response. Short. I wouldn't even say it's sweet. Just short, direct. I like okay because it's just completely neutral. I have no debt. She will have 120,000 with her best, and only job prospect being 41. So you're measuring people based on how much they make a year? Okay, everyone measures people differently. It's mine that again, would rather marry a cashier at Dollar General? You know, who you date and who your exes are a reflection of you. So if you start when you start bad mouthing them and going on and on about them, I look back at, the few exes I have that were significant in my life, and it didn't always go right. The breakup was tough or whatnot, or it had to happen, but they're good people. I won't be bad mouthing them. None of them. Because like I said, that's a reflection of who I was and who I was in the relationship. And even though we don't correspond now or have much of a relationship, if I saw them, I'd wish them nothing but the best. And that's sincere. And like I said, that's a good place to be in. But you also have to look at it like it takes, and if it was a hard breakup, like one of the ones I had, a couple of years, I was bitter in some ways or upset or, hurt, but I never wanted anything bad of them or wanting to go out of my way to talk bad about them, because it's like a family member, someone that you loved, that you really cared about, that you spent moments and time with. Eventually, if you got a good soul, you're going to want the best for them, right? I mean, think about it this way. Nico, and maybe I'm setting myself up for a smart ass answer here, but maybe you'll surprise me, Nico. If your ex was sick or in the hospital or something really bad happened to them, would you be saying these kinds of things? Or would you go, hey man, I want to go visit them and see how they're doing, or send her a card and some flowers, regardless of what happened? It's mine, that me, ha ha ha. I'm the dark chick, and that's Anna, my best friend from Germany. Oh, in your picture? Bernice Muir, you're from New Zealand, right? Do you have any Maori ancestry? I have two. My niece and nephew are Polynesian. I've always wanted to go to New Zealand, hun. That's a big one on my list. That's a top 5 destination. Argentina, New Zealand, Peru. I think South America looks cool. I'd rather go to South America than Europe, continent-wise. I'd like to go to Polynesia too, Tonga and Samoa, because my niece and nephew have relatives there. My brother-in-law's from there. Mac, you know that's me, LO, except my ends are blonde now. Yeah, I know from live coaching. Yeah. And you know what? If you did your picture a little nicer, I don't have a problem with it. Shit. How you doing, Tommy? Crystal, hello. I'm good, man. Just taking it day by day. Good for you, Tommy. I could just tell by, this sounds crazy, Tommy, but I could just tell by the way you interact and stuff right now, you do feel better about things. And I'm happy for you, bud. The first time you've been on live streams and stuff, and this isn't judgmental, you can tell when someone's like, going on and on about it. And I remember bits and pieces of your story, and you're starting to change your outlook, and it reflects in the way you're going out of your way to ask other people questions. A lot of times we forget, when we're in a bad place, to go out of your way to help other people counts, dude. Big time. E.g., in 3 weeks, I'll be attending a wedding. I'll be a groomsman, but the problem is I gained some weight, but I set a goal on doing and being in shape for the wedding. Well, good for you, dude. Sauna and ice pool. If you want to lose weight and not be overly unhealthy about it, that's one way to lose weight. Bikram hot yoga, another one. In 3 weeks, you'll lose some weight doing those things. How can I book a coaching session with you? Go to my website, rightmac.com. Go to the services page. It should be clear. Unfortunately, right now, I'm going to change the site this next month. But some people, you got to jump through. You got to pay, and then the booking's on another page. It's doable. People are able to do it, right? Mary, if you have trouble with it, Sweet Lou, just let me know. But I have 30-minute, 1 hour, and 2 hours. I would recommend 1 hour over 30 minutes because it always goes over 30 minutes. And Sweet Lou, if it's not useful or helpful, I will give you your money back. I haven't done it yet, but I do ask people at the end of every session, was this useful and helpful? She keeps reaching out, showed up at my band's show, was kissing me, taking my hat when girls came near me. Then a day or two later says all she can offer is friendship. I said, I have no interest. Well, that's a classic sign that she was highly attracted to you in the moment. And if I had to guess, you guys are probably in your early to mid 20s, a bit younger. I could be wrong. And women are usually in competition, and they're highly attracted to guys that are getting a lot of attention from other women. Men, If that was happening to a woman and a man was being ignored, he'd be more apt to walk away, be upset, maybe hit one of the guys, something like that. With women, it's like, oh, let me compete. But her saying she just wanted to be friends 2 days later is saying where she really does stand, that she's not looking at things long term. She's attracted to you, but she doesn't really want to be in a serious relationship. Eric, don't worry about weight. Be the best groomsman ever and have fun. Oh, that's a good way to put it, Sabina. I'd add to that, if you're a groomsman and you're wearing a suit, everyone looks better in a suit, in my book. Just don't do anything drastic to lose weight. But I would say sauna, ice pool, Bikram, hot yoga are ways to naturally lose weight in a good way. Yeah, I can tell when someone's not over their ex. That's a turnoff. I want someone who knows how to close chapters. A great point, VC. I remember I've talked about having bad dates after my bad breakup and having someone go on and on about their ex. And I was just like, damn, this is fucking pathetic. I was like, I thought I was bad, but I mean, I actually had a good relationship. You know, in just the last 3 or 4 months, it's been shitty. And you're talking about something that's been like 9 months or 10 months of a year, and you're just bitching and complaining. Why were you even with the person? I remember, I don't even want to bring this up. Why are you competing with her financially? E.g., if there was, you know, if you compete with a girlfriend or a boyfriend financially, and you guys are both highly driven, maybe it works for you. I always like to say, I think confidence is good. I think saying that you're good at something is good. You know, if you consider yourself, look at basketball players. I would talk about basketball, Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. Some people might say, oh, these guys are arrogant. They're fucking highly confident. They can back it up. And them saying how good they are helps the situation. Now, arrogance to me is when you put others that are your peers or colleagues or partners down because you think they're not as good as you. There's a difference, right? Because if you're confident and you're secure about yourself, it doesn't matter what other people do. If there wasn't no connection in past relation, can you have it in a new one? You mean from an ex, e.g., or what? What do you mean? She texted recently saying, I liked a pic of her. I didn't respond. I never look on her Facebook. Sounds immature, wisey, woody, and it sounds like she's fishing for attention. Divorce rate in the military is very high. I bet, dude. There's a lot of long distance, and long distance isn't ideal. Had a crazy ex email me after 3 months of no contact, talking shit about my income at the time. Well, did that motivate you to make more money, or did that make you feel low? No high five. I feel bad for her. That's the reason you never be friends with an ex. You can be friends with an ex as long as you want to be friends with them, as long as you're okay with it, and as long as that's your intention. I mean, I could be friends with some of my exes quite easily because I no longer have those kind of feelings or expectations. Competing, if we get married, mortgages would have been a problem. Why are you ignoring finances in a marriage is the better question. Well, when you first made this comment, you didn't say anything about marriage, first of all, and you didn't say anything about mortgages. So you just brought this in that wasn't there before. And it doesn't strike me, Nico, you don't strike me as someone that wants to get married. Is that true or not true? Long-term space is rough, so it makes sense, Tommy. Also, it could create fear of loss mindset. Yeah, long-distance relationships, they have a shelf life. The best long-distance relationships for young people is open ones. Basically, like friends with benefits. Basically, I'm not going to ask you a bunch of questions. I know you're a catch. I know that you're going out with friends, or I know you're doing things I don't want to know. And sometimes over time, people need to satisfy their needs. And so if they're open about that, that tends to work. But usually someone gets questionable, someone meets someone else, and that's when it just goes in a different direction. Someone gets hurt. My ex told me she can offer is friendship as well. I don't know. I feel like it's because she thinks she can find someone who's better fit. Well, I don't know. I feel like doesn't mean it's true. That's just a narrative you're putting on it, Tommy. Why not just go with all she can offer you is friendship? Accept it or don't accept it. Don't try to figure out why, who, when, where, what. Because really, that could be true and it could not be true, but it doesn't erase the fact that she just wants to be friends at this point. And you trying to change her mind is not going to help you get her back. Alpha male strategy says to get a hotter girl to make your ex regret breaking up with you. Well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Easier said than done for a lot of people. But yeah, if you can pivot out and end up with someone hotter, yeah, absolutely, Adonis. Most of the cases, or most of the people I talk to, their confidence or their insecurities are bigger than ever, and so that's not just that easy for them to do. If you're in a position where you feel really good about yourself and you feel like you can do that, well, then yeah, absolutely. And there's some men that can. No. It's much more satisfying if their rebound is less attractive. Being honest, well, yeah, to you it's more satisfying, but I'm saying it makes you feel like they were a more attractive individual or a better catch if they end up with someone better, right? But not just hotter. Get a girl who fits the problems of the last relationship or fixes the problems. There's a lot of times, C. Riddle, where I'd say people end up with what you'd call an opposite, someone that's very opposite of what your ex was. And that's because you had so many problems with the one prior to that you're attracted to what's new and what you didn't have before. So if, for example, if you were with someone that drank a lot or had a drug problem and you're with someone that's completely sober and doesn't drink, you find it highly attractive in the next relationship, most likely. No, I don't judge. I don't care. When I finish and eliminate the person, but makes sense, Mac, that healing is important. I never cared if they looked better. You'll drive yourself crazy worrying about that stuff. But I have a lot of friends who do think like that. Really. And when I said that, I'm asking the question. I'm not saying it's absolutely true. So VC saying I'm not like that, but I have friends like that. So there is some truth to it. I guess that would have to do with, how it's an identity issue probably, because I think it's more difficult if it's a woman that identifies with being very beautiful and getting a lot of compliments on their looks. And there's some women out there that work on their looks. They always have their hair done. They always have their makeup done, even if they're just going to the grocery store, and they get a lot of compliments and they get a lot of looks. And I find women like that don't get that attention. It drives them nuts. And I could see a woman like that, it being really harsh on them if they felt like their ex ended up with someone that they find as or more beautiful than them, because identity wise, everyone's always told them how great looking they are. I never badmouth any ex, simply says she's a great woman, but we weren't great together, and leave it that way. That's outstanding, Eric. If they are an ex, then there is some lesson that can be found. I agree from it, so then it can be positive. Sabina, you connected with someone because you were on the same vibration. What do you think about Crystal? Uruguay is great. Oh, thanks. Uruguay, I don't know much about it, but I'd love to go to South America. Costa Rica, I've heard good things, Rob. Repeatedly. Yeah, South America just overall. The Amazon. Brazil's on my list. Shit, man. Brazil's definitely on the list. I've had friends that went to Colombia recently and really liked it. They say Airbnb's alive and well over there. No, I let her go at first, and she came back just to trash me. Screw her. If she did tomorrow, I wouldn't be happy, but I'd be indifferent as the deer I smashed going 85. Bro. Dude. Like 1,000s of damage. How do I get my ex back? Well, I don't know. I don't care. I'm over her. End of story. Saunas. Do you do saunas, Rob? I think saunas. Haha, no Maori that I know of. If you ever come to New Zealand, let me know. I will, Bernice. Absolutely. I think New Zealand's one of the few places. There's a lot of Kiwis actually that come to visit Phuket, where I live. So one of my really good friends here is a Kiwi. I feel like New Zealanders are kind of like Canadians. You guys are just nice. If I had to be honest, knowing and meeting a lot of international people where I live, because everyone's on vacation, I would say just pure kindness, niceness, easygoingness. Canadians are almost too nice. I would say Canadians and Kiwis are the two. Thanks, Coach Mac. That means a lot. Definitely was a painful journey, but I know for a fact I strongly believe that I've become a better person as a result. Absolutely, dude. True True income level is not a priority of mine. Income's a priority when someone grew up poor or when they've seen times with no money. That's when it becomes more of a priority, and I get it. Not everyone grows up the same, and so this is something I've overlooked before. I grew up middle class, and so when someone's always complaining about money or someone's so hung up on money, I just found before, it's usually people that grew up rich that have a high level of identity associated with it, and importance associated with an expectation, or people that grew up really poor are really driven. And so it's not just something about their personality. It has to do with how they were raised. And you got to consider that when they bring that up, because we were all raised different with different values on money, but it can become an issue in a relationship. Well, I'd admit one thing. Some days I wonder if I could get her back, and other days I don't. I sometimes wear suits. Where did that come from, Rob? Is that for me or for someone else? I used to wear a suit. I liked wearing a suit, actually. Tommy, every human contact should be a journey. You put it good. Become a better person as a result. If I'm honest, I only wanted my ex back at first because breaking up was her idea. Might sound bad, but looking back, I was tanking on purpose and sabotaging it. No, it's actually very common. It's interesting that you said that. That'd be a video that I might make in the future, that sometimes people are sabotaging the relationship because they don't want to be the bad guy. And so they create situations to make the other person the bad guy. And subconsciously, they don't have the guts or courage to break up in a relationship they're not happy in. That happens a lot, actually. You realizing that now is actually a good thing. But also, if someone breaks up with you, there's a part of your ego that says, I want the last laugh. I don't wonder if my ex will come back anymore. It's one of the best feelings ever. Good for you, Skinner. Passive income is the best income. Absolutely. Or income, what I'd add to that, income that you feel like you really earned. So on the flip side, if you earned income, there's some people that feel really good about something that they earned, willfully. Well, technically she came back, but it was more of an apology. Now, I know the story, but it still felt good, right? It's a nice little bonus. Sorry. At the end of the storm, the bright sun always rises. Well, you're a little poet today, EG. Nice. Rob, wear it more than sometimes. At least a jacket then tells us how attraction's going. Didn't even read the email, read the first couple lines, and delete mode. Good for you, Adonis. True, Sabina, but I think a lot of people don't look at it like that. Get it? I know I definitely didn't until recently. Justin Adams, don't chase women, chase your purpose, and the right woman will follow. Sounds simple, sounds easy, because it is. Once you get your head right, you got to clear out the other shit running through your head, but you're exactly right, Justin. Justin Adams, what's your purpose? If you'd like to share. Tommy, that is enlightenment and growth. What's happening with you? 22 on debt. Yeah, 6 likes. We got 10 likes. Thanks, folks. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate it. Yeah, true. Hard to move on. Quick, who is hotter? I just right swipe every single chick on Bumble. Hard to move on. Quick, who is hotter? I just right swipe. Okay. Does right swipe mean you like them or don't like them? I know what Bumble is, but I don't use it. Absolutely need an awakening. I was cheating on my ex with hotter girls, but they were stupid and not intellectually, emotionally engaging. Basically brothel types that I didn't have to pay. Well, that says a lot about your character. Join the club, Eric. I was chatting to a friend last night and relationships came up somehow and we started talking about love. Tommy Willis, if you want someone who's hotter than you, ex, or someone you can connect with better. Good question. Where do I sign up? Gotta go. Nice stopping by. Right on, C. Riddle. Gotta go, you guys. Everyone have a great night. Keep up your heads up. Bye, Mac. VC, have a good one. Don't sound like something to brag about. I just focus on myself after breakups, gym, surfing, work. Surfing is something I always wish I got into. Yeah. Something always holds me back from it. It's that voice from my mom when I was a little kid. The tide's gonna get you. Stay away from the tide. I love the beach. I go swimming at the beach, but something about surfing, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't want to get caught in one of those undertows. But it looks cool. I mean, I just like being at the beach. I just did last week. It was beautiful here, and we did stand up paddle boarding. SUP, they call it, right? I like that, especially on a calm day. I do saunas. Saunas are outstanding, dude. It's underrated. Catch you later, Riddle. That is a way on the first date you ask people about their child. That's kind of deep. Tell me about your childhood. It is something to get to know someone about. I don't know if I'd ask the direct question, but it does tell you a lot about the individual. Someone was telling me that was in a really good relationship a few years back. A buddy of mine, his girlfriend was good looking. She had a good job. Not just a good job, but like she had, she just had a great personality. She was helpful, kind, sweet. And he's like, dude, my girlfriend, this, that. And I was like, I know, you got a good catch. I met her, bro, and go for you. I'm happy for you. And he goes, she even likes her parents, dude. She even likes her parents. And I was like, kind of laughed about that. And I thought later on, that is a big deal, actually. No issues with your family. Income isn't a deal breaker. It depends on where they are in their life. Are they in school? Do they have goals? Are they trying to achieve that? Yeah, where are you headed? Mary, are you still with us? That's what's up, Adonis. Tommy, yes, agree. But talking openly in the modern world, people just look money and not personality. I will write you a message later about that. It's individually based. Bumble is huge. I like Hinge. Bumble wasn't very popular in Europe when I lived there. It might have changed. Yeah, different. The tide won't get you, but the reef might. Right on, Healing Heart. Well, you would know. How you been, bud? I hope you're well. The beach has been beautiful in Phuket, but there hasn't been a lot of waves. It's been like a lake. Hinge seems to be getting bigger. I prefer Facebook. Yeah, supboarding it's fun. It's definitely different than surfing, right? I like to stay old fashioned. Okay. Well, Eric, feel free to request me. Dr. Freud, teach us how all issues are coming from childhood. I'm focusing on producing music that brings people together on an emotional level, and I'm working on a jet turbine that will be more energy efficient and green for the environment. Fuck, dude. That sounds outstanding, Justin. Good for you, dude. If you want to share any links or anything like that, go for it, man. That sounds like Elon Musk Jr. Tommy, never heard about that, Bumble. I want to help people and the environment. See, that's one of those simple statements that has a lot of fucking power. Good for you. I think one of my past clients met their fiance on Hinge. Is that one of those ones where you meet people that you're connected through Facebook or social media? I think that is. I ain't gonna lie, I peeked in at her Facebook profile and damn, she got fine as hell. Well, I'd rather my ex look good than look bad. Take it easy, Tommy. I think there is. I thought Hinge was a Facebook dating app. Adonis, yeah, you keep hearing the roosters. I have the window open today. I have a little extra light coming in. So. Oh my God, I live on some other. There's just so much information, so much things out there. We can't know everything. Hinge's Facebook dating app. I'm not sure. I think so. I like Hinge because you can comment on stuff they post, whether it's a question statement or a picture. You don't have to wait. Make good night, Tommy. Of course. There's a lady boys. Yeah, there's lady boys in Thailand. It's just, the funny thing about that is I think the movie Hangover made a big deal out of that. It's the same thing as transgender in San Francisco or California. It's really the same thing. They just give it a different name. So it's kind of funny. It's a big deal, but they're all over the world, right? Especially in major cities. They just call it a different name here. There's so many people I know that have watched that movie Hangover and they're in the States and like, oh, I know about Thailand. Saw a movie, huh? Any closing questions, folks? About an hour and a half. This was really good. There's only 2 genders. Changed my mind. Oh, is this louder with Crowder? One barflies are in. Okay. Y'all ever wonder what would happen if you threw a Dyson bladeless fan and some jet fuel together with a few tweaks? I don't even know where to go with that, Justin Adams. I wouldn't even know, man. You got me speechless. Dyson bladeless fan and some jet fuel together? I don't know. This is going all over the place. Mac, what's your thoughts on talking to multiple women at once? Kind of what I've been doing. Oh, fuck, man. Brian, read The Rational Male. That's a really good book. If you haven't read it, I think you'll like it. I believe you said that has a great chapter on that concept of dating multiple women, but I don't have a problem with it at all, as long as you they call it plate spinning, and you focusing in on one can make things become needy and weak. So if you're single and you're dating multiple women, go for it. And actually helps your game. It helps who you are. And I believe you have that right. And the woman has that right too. Because if you're dating and, I would say if you date 10 different women, I'm not saying to date 10 different women at once. That would be difficult. If you're dating multiple women, you increase your chances of meeting a really good one. And if you go out with just one, you're staking a lot in on one. Read The Rational Male and tell me what you think. Plate theory, it's called. How do I be less callous? Don't identify with it. Like Nico, you've said before, I'm a dick, I'm a sociopath, I'm this, I'm that. Well, you're telling your subconscious who you are. You should do some. You seem like, based on the story you wrote and stuff, that you're not a dumb person. But identity-wise, you have control over who you believe you are, and who you believe you are dictates how you act. And identifying with the idea, well, I'm callous, I'm just this way. Really? Other things is change your environment, change your job. You can't just change your outlook, right? It's like if you put on a, how should I put this? If you put on a fireman's uniform, that doesn't make you a fireman, right? You'd have to do the stuff prior to. Yeah, Eric's from San Diego also. I try to keep my emotions in check, but I feel like I could easily get attached to one of them. But at the same time, how do I keep them from hurting one or more if they like me more? How do I keep from hurting one or more if they like me more? I think you're overthinking it a little bit. If that's a problem at some point, then what was your question? Do you let the other women know you're dating multiple women? If you're in the beginning, if you're dating someone and you just went on 1 or 2 dates, I don't think you need to disclose, oh, I've been dating 4 women or 3 women. If you start to get to a point where it starts to get more serious, or the other person asks you, then you can tell them. It's like Nico, the thing I would come down to, who do you believe you are as a person? Who are you? Now, some people think that's a really fucking simple question. It's actually really going to tell you who you believe you are. A lot of times people answer it with their job, but it's a bit deeper than that. It's like I've asked that question to, and they'll be like, oh, I don't know. That's a problem. Then you're just reacting to everyone else out there and what they think you are. Well, that's a problem, Brian. Read that book, The Rational Male. You might need a little bit of more time to heal, but you Yeah, you probably need more time to heal then. That's okay, Brian, by the way. That's okay. Keep doing your gym, keep doing those things. You know what I'm saying? Like that's you being honest, like I'm still not completely healed. And if you jump into a relationship just out of opportunity, it could be a bad relationship for you because you're still holding shit from the past one. And you were in a long relationship and there was a lot of issues in that relationship, I remember. So um give yourself time. I would say you're improving because you're in this live stream. I don't know if this is helping you that much, but I think it is. Seems like some of the ways you talk and some of the things you bring up are improving. Would you agree? This is the thing, when you improve out of a breakup, it's not going to happen in a day. It takes time, and progress does help. It's the little victories. It's plateaued progress too, if that makes sense. Like, there's a really good book called Mastery, not by Robert Greene, by George. I think it's George Marshall. And he talks about when you get better at something, that it's plateaued. And so, you know what I mean by plateaus? It's not like this. It's not like, oh, I'm going to get better from my breakup like this. Like everything's going to go right. It's going to be like, oh. So you're like, oh, now I can actually go on bad dates and not just think about my ex the whole time. So there's a plateau. The next date's like that. The next thing's like that. Oh, now I can actually go on a date and find the other person attractive for more than 10 minutes, where before all I thought about it was it's like little plateaus. And if you look at it, if you like athletes or sports, sometimes an athlete will come into a sport and he's bad at shooting the basketball. And so for 2 years, he doesn't shoot well. And then a year later, he shoots well. Or if you go to the gym, like you said, Brian, if you're bench pressing or doing some of those things, right, it's going to take you more than a day. It's probably going to take you like a month, 2 months to move up 15, 20 pounds in weight, right? So, and you know what? There's plenty of women out there that don't want a serious relationship. So you could do the friends with benefits thing. I'm not at the point where I don't think about her at all when I'm with new people, but a lot less. That's progress. That's my point. I'm not telling you not. It's pretty difficult to get to that point, but you will get to that point. And you do it with no contact. You do it with moving forward. You do it with the things you're doing, Mac. Hey, Mac, do you remember my questions from yesterday? Are you paranoid you all run into an ex again? I'm not paranoid that I'll run into an ex again. I think I answered that in the live stream. I don't have any deep issues with an ex or something like that. If I ran into them, I'd be cordial. I'd be friendly. I'd ask them how they've been. If they were with a boyfriend or a husband, I'd shake the guy's hand and introduce myself. That's real. Saying that, I'm not fresh out of one either. It's harder when you're fresh out. So any closing questions? I'm at an hour and a half. I am Dylan only because I haven't seen her at all since March. LOL. You always threw the LOL in there. At least you can laugh about it, dude. That's good. Good hour and a half, 19 on deck, 12 likes. Thank you, folks. I really appreciate it. It's kind of you. I would, Brian, if you haven't gotten that book, The Rational Male, that's a nice little book to start with. The audio book's really good. And it's funny. It's most guys that I recommend it to like it quite a bit. It's not your average dating book or something like that. I'm not paranoid either. It's at a point where it actually surprised me. It's a bonus. Actually, it wouldn't even be a bonus at this point for me. It would just be cool to catch up. And if they were interested, it would be surprising, but okay. Thanks, Rob. Rob always gives me the seal of approval. I appreciate that, Rob. You're good people, man. You're really good people, Rob. Could be my wingman anytime. There's a new Top Gun coming out, someone just told me. Brian, I haven't seen mine since 2 years. I think we were a high school love couple. High school sweethearts is what we call it in America. Do they have a hard copy? I get distracted with ebooks. Yes. If you don't like that, get the audiobook. They might even have it downloaded on YouTube. I don't know. But definitely get that. I think you'll like it, dude. Everyone I've ever recommended that actually reads it likes it, generally. Zombieland 2 on Thursday. Hella pumped. Hella? Are you from the Bay Area? That used to be a sign that you were from the Bay Area. Someone from LA said it to me recently that was in I go, "Where are you from?" They're like, "South Central." I go, "You guys say hella in South Central?" Because when I lived in South Carolina, San Diego, South Carolina, when I lived in San Diego, people would identify you right away. You're from the Bay Area if you said the word hella. We say hella in Kansas. Really? Oh, wow. I didn't even know you were in Kansas, bud. Little Wizard of Oz. Always be on board as long as I have a net connection. Right on, Rob. I appreciate that. It's random, dude. Because hella that was a Bay Area thing since I was Idaho. Wow, that's a great place to be, Skinner. That's exactly where you want to get to. They still hella in the Bay, driving there tomorrow. Yeah, when I talk to people from the Bay Area and they start dropping hellas, I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know people used it all over now. There's some people that, what's funny about that, Adonis? That's a big word in Hayward, the East Bay. The East Bay, there's a lot of people that still got the Pendletons and that's funny. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess it travels through rap and hip hop, maybe. That's funny. Cause that's when I was a kid, you'd go visit, somewhere else or something, and they'd all be like, "What is this hella from?" There used to be a girl when I lived in San Diego that was from the Bay Area, and she'd come over and hang out, and she was a friend of a friend. And my roommates used to always laugh because she'd go, "It's hella crazy. It's hella crazy. It was hella fast. Everything was hella, but it would be hella." And they would call it, they would nickname her. My roommates were like, "Is hella coming over?" Shit, that was 16 or 17 years ago. Wow, that's crazy, man. Time flies. A girl I hooked up with is from Hayward. She says hella a lot. I'm not going to disclose that one, Adonis, but I get it. Really? Well, when I meet people from Vancouver or Whistler, I think they're from Southern California. They have this, "What's up, dude? What's going on?" I remember when I lived in San Diego, the lingo was different than the Bay Area. Maybe it's changed. Mac, you ever have an ex that admitted they still thought about you often? Wish I could say yes. I mean, when hella was around since I was probably in the 80s, dude. But like I said, talking to people in Southern California, they'd always identify people from the Bay that way. See you, Dylan. Yeah, I wish I could say, "Oh, yeah, I've had many call me back and say they thought about me often." I had one that we were like friends with benefits, and I moved away. And so I don't know if it qualifies as an ex because we weren't official. We were dating for like 2 or 3 months, and it probably would have been official, but I moved. And she called me up out of the blue and told me, "Oh, I ran into someone at a coffee place and it reminded me of you." But she wouldn't say I was thinking about you often. And then we ended up revisiting the relationship within the next couple of months and eventually ended up being a girlfriend. Hella's, yeah, see, it's a Bay Area thing, dude, especially East Bay. We use that word a lot. It's definitely elevated over there. I remember when I lived in Southern California, I was shocked that people use the word gnarly. And another one in San Diego was, "Let's charge it. Let's charge it." I was like, some of the different words, especially surfers use, is a little bit different. Someone said, yeah, gnarly. Oh, Juan, I think I got your story. So I will be, just a heads up, I got your story and I will be making a video for that in the next couple of days. I'll do a public YouTube response if that's fine with you. But I would definitely, besides 3%, man, I would read The Rational Male. Tell me what you think of both of them. My friends from Santa Rosa is nice. Make fun of me because I say dude before and after every sentence. The one that's big now, East Bay would be Oakland, but East Bay is bigger than Oakland. The East Bay it's bigger. Yeah, let's charge it. Like let's go somewhere. But a lot of people say bruh, bruh. My nephew always says bruh, bruh. Listen, bruh, bruh. And then we were hanging out and stuff, and I said, hey, bruh. And he's like, he started dying, bruh. That one wasn't huge when I was young, bruh. Hey, bruh. And my nephew will say it to women too, saying that you saw someone that reminded them of you is one of those memory text things. Yeah. I mean, here's the crazy thing about it happens to all of us, right? I mean, there's two exes that it doesn't happen often, but yeah, something reminds me of them because I was with them for 5 years or 3 years. So of course, just like something would remind me of, my father or someone else in my life. Charge it means to surf huge waves. Yep, that's the plan. About to read it again. Dude, the biggest slap in the face was being an open book to girls. Cool, Mac. Much appreciated. We'll let you know what I think of it. Yeah, no problem. All right, bro. See, to me, it was just something, fam we never used fams. No. No. In the Bay Area, a lot of people used to say cuz. I guess I still say dude. If the funny thing is, if you hang out with another group of people long enough, you'll start saying lingo, even if you're not intended to say it. That's wild. Well, the one that I hear a lot is facts, and that's facts. And what's the other one? The one I liked, someone told me before, is they're gooning. That was funny. The only time I think about my ex is when I think of to myself that I don't think about her anymore. That's kind of funny, actually, huh? I'm from the Bay Area because it's used a lot by my family. Oh, you're from the Bay, Juan? Where are you from in the Bay, if I may ask? If you don't want to say, it's okay. You might have already told me before because I think you've been on before, 258. San Jose. San Ho. One of my good friends used to go to San Jose State, so we used to go there he used to be in a fraternity. I've been there a few times, but I didn't spend a lot of time in San Jose. San Jose. Yeah, it can mean that, Adonis, but yeah, some people used to. Yeah, I forgot you're from the LBC, huh? But I moved to Washington and been living here for last. Okay, cool. You like Washington? Seems like a green state. Seems nice. I think San Jose is pretty crowded now and expensive. A big one. My aunt still lives in San Jose. A big one is a word I know I can't say here, but it's in all the rap songs. Yeah, Skinner. Skinner, I think about how long it's been. I used to count the months. Now I'm like, damn, it's been a long time. Mission District. What about the Mission District? That's in. Actually, my grandmother was born in the Mission District. San Jose. The Bay Area has a lot of Asians, dude. Where I grew up, San Mateo is pretty damn expensive. Shit, man. And I didn't grow up in the nice part. I love Asians. Well, I live in Asia, so shit. What's that say about me? When I used to live in the Bay Area, a lot of people used to think I'm part Asian. Actually, I used to get that a lot. Well, that's good, Skinner, that you have some compassion, because I don't think about it a lot. I bring it up because I do breakup work and I help people with breakups. And if I hadn't gone through it, I want to understand it. I had been through a couple or, breakups or here and there, but having one where it was like a 5-year serious relationship, I get it. I get it. It's totally different. Totally different. It's indescribable before you feel it. Agree, Rob. San Jose is socially acceptable to live in with your parents when you're late 20s. Yeah, Juan's right, actually, dude. It's The Bay Area, everyone rents a room, dude. If you got roommates or you live with your parents for a long time, he's right, dude. You go down like the suburb streets and there's just cars. Like where I grew up is like, and then by the time I left, even that was 10 years ago, you can't get parking spots just in neighborhoods. Matt, girls like you because you have blue eyes and white, huh? I think I have green eyes actually. I don't know if white works in my favor. Or are you talking about where I live now? Empathy is good, but can be a catch for people with personal disorders. So don't be too much. Asian girls? I don't know. Suppose it does happen. Yeah, I don't have blue eyes though. Sister did. Yeah, it's like you get, but it's hard seeing someone go through what you went through, knowing that they probably aren't helping themselves with certain behaviors. Maybe you want to do my job, Skinner, since you got this. Maybe you want to do breakup coaching in the future. That's crazy, Juan. That's so real too, Rob. Damn. $3,000. Wow. That's crazy. But people make so much more money in the Bay Area. That's the thing. So, all right, Juan, I'll get to that today. I got to get to some stories. I know Skinner likes when I drop the stories. Juan sent one in, so that'll be up. And a couple other people put some up. If you guys have a breakup story you want to share, send it into rightmac.com. Or if you want to book a live coaching session, Sweet Lou, I think, did. It's been a good session today. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate it. We're getting a little bit bigger group more regularly. This is nice. Skinner, I mean, everyone has their own approach, right? Sometimes I get frustrated by the questions or the repetitiveness of it. But at the same time, it's new for the other people. You did mine titled "My Ex Has Mental Health Issues." Okay. Did it help you, Justin? I hope. Thanks, bud. See? Good, bud. Sometimes you just need an outside, non-biased opinion from someone that doesn't have an objective. I'm not trying to be your, when I read those stories and stuff, I'm not trying to tell you something to benefit myself. I'm telling you how I see it without any bias, and that's the big part of it. So that's cool, Justin. I'm glad I helped an individual like you that's doing big things. That's great. We'll close it on that. Curtains, folks.